Hey everybody, it's Kevin, and today is the 5th of December 2020. We are really fast approaching the end of this year. And I was up early today as usual, while I organize my desk. One of the things I think I'm going to do on Sunday is to redo this whole studio. Bedroom studio, whatever you want to call it. I got some good cards today. I was up early. I was doing some meditation. Let me have a quick sip of coffee. Um, oh gosh, and I never really know what's going to happen. I say that a lot to folks. Like, I don't know what these cards are going to say, and I sometimes sit and think, well, what is the message in here? And these cards that I drew this morning was as much a message for me, and I got that clear. Okay, well, I want to give a message to other people. This isn't about me. This is about my intent. And then I landed. So the first thing that happened was I'm shuffling through looking for a jumper, and it doesn't happen. And when that usually occurs, it's time to turn the cards over, face me, mix them all up, put them back together, whoosh them around. It doesn't matter. It's a bit like doing the washing, You kind of, things get stale. You've got to shake things up a bit, and this is where this message really lands. So the first card, I use the dominant hand, which for me is the left hand. Split them into three piles, put them back together, and then take the card that's off the top. And that one came up, the prison waif, right? So we've had this one come up before. And what I tend to do in the mornings when I'm pulling these cards is to quickly ask for, is this it or do you want more? And I quickly get an answer, there's more coming. So the second card I pulled up, again as an ally, was the Hungry Ghosts. And I'm learning to listen to the fact that this is almost like the message comes in a trilogy. What has already transpired, the prison waif, negative thinking, self-sabotage, poverty consciousness, that is done with. That's what brought us to what's happening now. And the Hungry Ghosts, this card talks about obsession, scarcity, consciousness, and attachment. It really isn't real. It is what habits of a lifetime that circulate, that come back up. And this is going to make sense for those of you who find yourself repeating the same thing. And the reason I say that is that the holidays, I always feel like, for me, the holidays are like a rash. It starts at Halloween and doesn't stop itching until Valentine's. It just is a time of the year that is a big ass melting pot of memories, this idea that we have to give in order to receive, and when we receive but we haven't given, there's these out of balance, insecure silliness that occurs, and that's the pattern. So that today is represented by the Hungry Ghosts. And the Hungry Ghost is what's happening to the environment we find ourselves. We've come back around to this pattern, except now we have a layer or a trough, or I call it a ditch of debauchery, where you got I don't think it's a large group of people, a small group of people making a lot of noise, and it's sort of like hard to shut it out, hard to get that quiet space and say, look, hang on a minute, I need a space. So for those of you who feel like you need space, Oh, that's speaking to you because you've got these hungry ghosts that are going in your head, stirring up the trouble, which is really fantastic because the third card that came up from this deck talked about, it's called the Word Lord, and it came up as a challenge, not a warning, but a challenge. A challenge is to make you pay attention. A challenge is to, are you really sure? A challenge is, here's the backside of the story, which is why I love Colette Baron Reid and these Oracle decks. By the way, I think Hay House, which is where I get these cards. You can go to Hay House. There's the whole university over there. They've got these cards on sale. And a lot of folks ask me, well, how do you know which ones work for you? It's an attraction. You go in there, you start looking at the pictures. Now, if you get to 4 or 5 or 6 and you're getting confused, you've got to just walk away because it can get a little bit mesmerizing. But if there's pictures that speak to you, if an author or an illustrator speaks to you, the cards are calling your name. And I know for sure, I didn't thought, well, what am I doing laying these cards down? I don't plop cards down and do readings for people. I kind of do, but it is really, they're speaking to you to give you messages that the outside world aren't giving you. All right, I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. The Word Lord is about communication, praise, and dishonesty. Here's the thing. When he shows up as a challenger, it is all about this ego. Let me explain to you about ego. Ego is something that we have that is it can be a bit naughty. When you feel like you're not being good enough, pretty enough, lovely enough, when something happens that we don't know what to make sense of, and there is an automatic feeling that goes with it. They have physical, neurological responses in your body. Your jaw might tighten, your fists might clench up. You get that gut feeling that, oh, it doesn't feel too good. You might want to go to the bathroom, nervousness, all that nonsense. That is nothing but energy flowing through your physical body. The spirit's been stirred up, that part of us that is anchored into the physical body, it's been stirred up. So there's going to be a little bit of a physical response. The challenge is, as we learn from little ones to teenagers and, taking on different parts of life, different parts of growth, the physical growth, other people, influential people, push on their agenda. They push on what we're supposed to pay attention to. And this is where the tricky bit comes in. We also, while we're not really conscious of it, go tiptoeing down the aisle of, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? And what do you think? We go asking for permission, asking for information, asking for really validation. So these 3 cards together, and there's another one that's blew my mind when I turned them over. Like, ooh, the one that made all of this make sense. Because at this point, I'm putting these 3 cards down. This is the past, and the past is talking about old lies and trying to reckon. And this is making me nuts. Watch what you're saying. Watch what you're saying about yourself and know that it's in the past. Watch how the pattern of what you've said in the past shows up. The pattern of, oh, we've been here before. And this is really important because whether or not you are, I think we're all spiritual. I don't really believe if you're on this channel, you're paying attention, doing the meditation, you're spiritual. There's a part of your soul that's anchored in your body that is huge, that says we've got to move forward. We've spent a year, which is a tiny amount of time when you consider how many eons we've been on the planet, and how many eons we keep evolving and revolving, we've had this one section that needed to happen to move global consciousness forward. And we can go all the way back to the 1915s, 1920s, when they had World War I in Europe, and then we went World War II in Europe, and then we went Vietnam, and then we went here, then we went there, and there was the Irish people kicking up a fuss. We have had this conflict of power and control going on, and I'm getting goosebumps, the energies here, going on for centuries, right? I don't think I can't go back as far as Cleopatra. That's way back in history. But we've had these westernized conflicts, East and West have these conflicts going on for centuries. The difference is a lot of human beings, that's spirits that are being human for a while, have had to meander around and through. So if you go back to the 60s, you've got meditation coming to the Western world from Eastern philosophy. Go back even further, if you've ever read Autobiography of a Yogi, I can't say his name, so I'm not going to try. Paramahita Yogananda came here. He was a Hindu. He did his thing out there in California, and then all of a sudden, the powers that be, the controlling influences, shut him down, sent him off. He came back later on and started a monastery for folks who wanted to study Hinduism. It's a fascinating book. The next world that's going to open up for us, that's going to come, it's not too far away. It's a bit like we've got leaders that have this need to control. So what I'm asking you to do with these three cards in this message today is, before we go launching into 221, where are you trying to control things? Because if we find that we're out of sorts with people trying to control us, trying to control what we do, telling you to rush off and go get some vaccine, I don't know how I feel about that, and I'm not really going to get into it. If it's meant to be, it'll be. If it's not, it's not. That's simple. If you've noticed that you are not comfortable being controlled, and that can start from childhood, usually does, just have a little look and get honest, which is what the word Lord really talks about, being honest with yourself. One of the words in here is dishonesty. You don't have to go shout it to the hills and tell people all your business. That's also the ego looking for validation. When you go start chit-chatting about what you discovered and what you didn't discover, there's one thing about sharing it. Sharing your thoughts, getting it out there and kind of juggling. Ooh, what do you think this means? That's one thing. That's okay. Because you'll get messages from people that love you and care about you and say, well, let's just sit with it for a while and see what happens. It's another thing to put your business out on the street looking for your little army of people to believe you. Have you noticed lately that folks are so busy pushing their own, look at me, see me, look at me, I'm fabulous, I'm wonderful, I'm this, I'm that. That's ego. And ego is a tricky bugger. Ego will come in there and think, oh, you're getting attention. Let's give you some more attention. Let's see what you do with that. And you begin to feed like piranhas. Like, ooh, no. The bigger card that popped up, which made sense of all of this, came from Kyle Gray's angel cards. Power and intention. So how does all this work together? And I go back to the same message I've been saying for a little while now, a week or two. You and I and the people that we know and we connect with, I personally, and I hope you do too, but if you don't, you don't, believe that we're created out of love. We're created out of just this pure, wonderful energy that's known as love. I do believe that we come in here with a purpose. I mean, I can't imagine why would you, if heaven and spirit world is so lovely and fine and dandy and doesn't have all these rapid, have to go to work, pay bills, all this stuff. Why would you choose to come in? And I think we make an agreement. We make these agreements to pop into a physical life, a human life, to shift things forward. So what I want you to consider, and I've had to be careful here not to let my ego go mad and think, well, am I saying making sense of this? Is we're entering into a brand new world. I don't even think in 6 months things will be the same. So where does this come from? Who in the world do I think I am to be making these bold statements like this? Well, truth in fact, when we started the beginning of the year, 2020, we had this idea that there was this illness happening way on over in the Pacific eastern part of the world. And those folks were getting sick and they were not doing very well. But we're okay. We got our cozy Christmas tree and we've got our little, holiday beverages, and we're just going on with life. And then January pops up and the news starts clicking with more stuff. And February rolls around and now you've got some political people doing their whole egoic nonsense. Oh, well, then we're going to add on this thing called a pandemic. Let's chuck that on there. I'm not saying it's not real. People are dying. People are really sick. I'm not saying this is not real. That's real. But nothing that we thought was going to happen at the beginning of this year actually happened. Not just in America, but in Europe. Oh my goodness gracious, those tiny countries with very little infrastructure. And they're trying to meander with, the National Health Service in England and other places that have a nationalized health system. They're bulging at the seams to try to get help. And there are leaders that are put in place to try to calm the waters. And here we are in the US, sort of capitalist. Let's go make some money, pay some bills. Materialism going on, the ego. I've got to have this fabulous car. I've got to have all that. Whatever that means. I'm using these as illustrations. We're entering a new world. All that's pushing down. All that's coming to a close. And I like to think that we will become a kinder, more intuitive society. And by intuitive, I mean digging into the truth that's in here. The truth that when you get up and you're saying, oh, okay, this feels like a good day. I'm listening to folks, because I do hair, and I'm listening to folks talk about how they are exhausted with the Zoom calls and the meetings online and the virtual world. Okay. So I'm now sort of getting this idea that corporations are seeing that while it's okay to be hauled up in your house with a camera doing this virtual stuff, we also have to have a kinder way of treating employees. Some corporations are saying, yes, we're going to give you more time off. We're going to have you all these things that make it look lovely and great. And I think that's positive and go more for it. But there's an awful lot of other folks that aren't getting that. So the next little while, next few months, there will come a reconciliation between what we know in ourselves to be right, what we know in ourselves to be honest, what we know in ourselves to be, let's just go with it. Because we're in a space and a place where nothing seems anywhere like what it was. And when I'm talking about this message today, and we will meditate, I tell you, I promise you, power and intent. I want you to start to get into thinking that you, yourself, listening to this, watching this, are hugely powerful. And you have an intention. You have an intention to do big things, great things. I'm sure many of you, whatever you do in your life, whatever your passion is, it involves helping other people. You may not be able to land on the actual purpose. It might not be, well, what do I do and how do I do that? That's ego trying to find a little plug to put your hole in. That's okay. All I want you to concentrate on is, what is your intention when you have a disagreement with somebody? What is the intention of the disagreement? Is the intention of the disagreement to get your point across above theirs? Is the intention of the disagreement to discredit who they are? That is all these hungry ghosts and all this sabotaging, self-deprivating nonsense. This is right now the time, the holidays, the potential, whatever you want to call it, shutdown. I find that word quite interesting because it's bandied around a lot. We're getting ready to shut down again. What are you shutting down? I mean, I almost want to scream, what in the are you shutting down? Because I'm not going to be shut down anything. No, sorry, plugging my camera in, chit-chatting away to people. The English shut that, and no part of shutting that down for me. You have a voice, you have an intention. You came here with an intention. You just let the intention go. Today I intend to do so-and-so. Don't obsess about how. If you've got a plan, if you've got this plan and say, okay, you know what? I intend to cut the grass today. Get the bloody mower out and oil it up and go cut the grass. I intend to go get my dog groomed. All those little things, yes, if that's your intention. Those are like tasks. Keep you busy, keep you going. No amount of shutdown is going to stop you from cutting the grass, get the dog groomed. Yes, if there's a store that's closed because they got told to shut down, they're listening to something. There's a difference. The intention of opening doors, providing people with their essential goods, the intention is to serve somebody, give them what they need. Your intention could be to listen to somebody, give them space. Here's the other thing that the Hungry Ghost talks about, and the Word Lord. Surround yourself with people that support your intentions. Give you space to speak and to talk and to listen. Many, many, many times, a lot of you just want to get it out. Say what you've got to say. It doesn't have to make sense, but you want to offload this ook and this gook of egotism, the part of us that gets trapped in, I don't feel good enough, I don't feel pretty, I've gained weight. I've heard all of that, said it many times. Even this morning, I caught myself saying, ooh, Kevin, you're getting a bit fluffy. You got a bit pudge going on. And I thought, oh, I got to shut that down. My whole past was about weight and not fitting into clothes. And I quickly turned around, looked right in the mirror and said, I love you anyway, no matter how many bulges and jiggly bits you got. It doesn't matter. You're a beautiful person inside a beautiful body. Now get over yourself. Those are the conversations we have to have with ourselves. We have to get to the point of where we're recognizing what we're putting out there, what we're saying. And this final power of intention, if you're not getting in touch with the fact that you, my friends, are powerful, 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 powerful. If you don't believe it, you're not seeing it, you're not listening to it, we've got to have a chat. Powerful doesn't mean that you're going to be the queen of a country. I mean, I would think, Queen Elizabeth, I don't know the woman. She runs a nation. She, there's been newspaper reports and TVs made about her. People are fascinated with that woman. And I wonder, well, let me just wonder what kind of spirit she's got. What would it be like to live in that great big bloody house and have to walk around with all those, those clothes have got to be heavy, and she's in her 90s running around with this heavy stuff on. For what? Does she have a purpose? Yes. But at 20, 21, 22, when she became the Queen of England, and this incredible woman that dedicated her life to serving her country in a way that, I don't know if I would have done that. And I wonder, she's powerful. No one dare tell her she's not. This is the kind of influence. Power doesn't mean that you've got to push somebody else out the way to get there? And how many people have worked in companies where you've done what you've needed to do? You've served your company, you did your job really, really well, worked hard, only to find somebody else pushes you right out the way and they take over. Does it feel good? What do? Start this egoic thing about not being good enough because it means somehow you didn't do what you were supposed to do because this is what you wanted. The intention is do it anyway. Keep doing it because eventually you'll get led where you're meant to be led to. When something comes to an end and it finishes, let it go and move on. When a relationship isn't working for you and you're thinking, oh my goodness gracious, I've grown, I've done so much with my life, I am great, I've done this, but yet whoever it is you're involved with hasn't done much growing and hasn't moved forward, and you've done it, you've gone. There's nothing wrong with admitting the fact that you've grown and you're at a different place in life and your journey, your intention needs to continue. But if you're listening to that voice inside, the ego, the lies, the hungry ghosts, the self-sabotaging, I've got to help them, I've got to try to help them, I've got to try to help them, what can I do? That's on them. The biggest thing you can do is to be an example and say, listen, I found my power. And those of us that found our power were lost in the woods of, I don't really know what I'm doing. Just like I said to you this morning with this, I really don't know quite what these cards mean, but I'm going to go with it anyway. It all comes back to being of service to yourself. Where are you? Where's that leaky bit? Where have you been telling yourself lies? Get truthful, get honest, have those chats, write them down. Anytime you think of a negative thing to say about yourself, two things are happening. Something's underneath it. Something's driving it. Anytime, like for me, my trigger is food. No word of a lie. If I don't feel good about things, I don't just want a slice of cake. The whole fucking cake is going in my mouth. Oh, I'm sad I swore. Sorry. I'm probably going to get busted by YouTube. Yes, I do drop the F-bomb once in a while. It's just a word. But yes, I'm saying that, there are little triggers that happen. Write down what you're doing. Oh, what happened? Quickly, you can rebalance all of that by being clear with yourself, having a chat. Oh, Lord, look, I've just consumed an entire half of the Sara Lee cheesecake, whatever. I'm using that as an example. Or, woof, I just polished off that bottle of Malbec. It's okay. Those things are fine. What's not fine is not identifying, well, okay, I think something's going on. I don't feel quite right about something. And usually it's to do with the fact that we had an expectation and it wasn't realized. The bigger picture is something better's out there. This is what happens when power of intention shows up. If this isn't lining up with your greatest good and the highest good of everything going on, it usually means you're playing it safe. You're being a little mediocre. You're not digging into your full potential. I don't know what you believe, but I believe we've got these guides and this energy out there that steps in when you're about to have a car accident and pushes you off to the side of the road, or steps in when something alerts you that there is a problem. That's a power that we're not really conscious of. We're out doing our business, driving the vehicle, picking up dry cleaning, taking care of the people we care about. We're not really paying attention to the warning signs that's going on out there. There's a power greater than any of us at work all the time. The biggest issue here is that power and that intention keeps working your initial purpose and your initial intention. You might change your mind, but that initial intention, the purpose, what you came here to do, moving mankind forward, showing people the way, even if they don't believe they know the way, even if you say, look, it might be dark, just close your eyes, walk forward. Even if people feel fearful, show them that fear's something that's calling your name. Let's just go and see what happens. So, In closing all this up, know that all of this scarcity, self-sabotage, poverty consciousness is in the past and needs to stop. The repetitious ego chat that keeps coming up, the patterns of the holidays that keep coming up, are coming up to show you how to change. You've got to make some changes. And I say really big, huge, let it go. Go through your closets, go through your clothes. Anytime you're holding on to something because it's something from the past, a bunch of photos or whatever, ask why you're having that feeling, but reconcile it. This is what the hungry goes to, reconciling your ego. And then the word Lord. Where are you not being honest? Where are you letting yourself be seen as nothing? Where do you level up and rise up? When you rise up with leaders and reconcile what you believe a leader is. If you put somebody on a pedestal because you think that they're all that, know that you deserve to be on that same pedestal with them. I love people like Brene Brown, who writes incredible she's in that self-help section of the bookstore, yet nothing she does, well, helps just her. She's doing it to help other people. That's the leaders you line up with. That's the people you say, oh, this is what I'm going to be doing next. The people that come to you no matter what happens and deliver messages to give you something to move on with, to go forward with. Yes, sometimes we want to be compensated, but know that you will. You don't need to be compensated with a title on a business card or your name on the door of an office or the corner office on the top floor of a tower block. But trust me, if that's what you want and that's what you think you're about, it will be provided for you. Well, then what do you do? All right, my friends, I've been chit-chatting here for 32 minutes. I didn't mean to do that, but let's meditate. Part of meditation is to be grounded and to be right where you are seated in this present moment in time. So feet flat on the floor, eyes closed, takes your mind consciousness inward. And for this morning, I'm going to encourage you palms up in receiving. And then I want you to breathe in through your nose. Release out through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose. Breathe out through your mouth. One more time. Hold it. Sigh and let go. Know that it takes a little while for your mind, the neurons that are going to your brain, your reaction and your responses, a small echo of what you've heard or listened to, what you're responding to or reacting to. It takes a while for that to settle down. When your thoughts are buzzing about, giving you distracted feelings, causing you to want to fidget, just breathe. with your consciousness centered around your physical environment where you are. Keep your eyes closed, let your sight go in. Connect the soles of your feet. Focus on the soles of your feet, the cushion underneath your foot bones. The soles of your feet are your spiritual shoes, connecting you to the ground of Mother Earth. Mother Earth anchors your spirit and your soul. Tethers you, holds you, keeps you grounded so you can continue to be you. Think of the spiritual shoes, the soles of your feet, with extensions that go deep down into the substrata of the earth. The deep caves and hollows of the earth that have transformed into crystals. Consciously wrap your roots around the crystals, around the earth. Surrender all your insecurities. Surrender all your anxieties. Surrender all your concerns for looking a certain way, being a certain way. Release and let go and cut the binds that connect you to negative speak about yourself. Cut the binds that connect you to energies of gossip. Cut the binds that attach you to judgment, self-judgment, judgment of others. Cut the binds that tie you to anything other than your highest good. Cut the binds that tie you to limited feelings. Know that as you cut these binds and surrender them to the core of Mother Earth, know that the Earth is using your discarded energies to transform and replace same energies with new clarity, new wisdom, new opportunities, new connections, fresh wisdom, clean thoughts, more energy, lift this transformative energy from the soles of your feet into your being, into your heart. Allow the energy that you have right here, the energy that you came with in this life, to be used for the highest purpose of your life and the lives of others. Allow your consciousness to travel up the middle of your body as if you are floating on a silver cord. Allow the silver light to extend out through the crown of your head, far up into the stratosphere of the universe. Connecting you to a higher purpose, connecting you to a higher power. Your own personal silver cord of life is connecting you to source energy. That same energy created the sun and the moon, and all the powers in the galaxy and all the planets in the universe. Your energy and the energy you are here with is needed. The extensions on your feet anchored to the crystals of the earth. The unbreakable silver cord that tethers you to the heavens. Know that you are a strand of light. You are the essence of love. We are the example of strength. And as you breathe in deep, allow this silver cord to increase the energy the essence of love, the essence of light, the essence of clarity, the essence of wisdom. With every inhale breath, open and increase the source energy. With every exhale breath, release and let go of the unhelpful, unproductive, negative energies that no longer serve your highest good and can no longer be of use to others. By releasing and letting go the unwanted energy, you've created more room for wisdom, more room for love, more room for light, more room for wisdom. Allow this increase to occupy the space that you are conscious of. Allow the light to extend past your skin, let this light of wisdom increase energy, love, light, prosperity, abundantly fill your heart. Continue increasing this light and this power to fill your room powerfully fill your building, the street that you live on, allow this light to expand beyond the neighborhood you are in, And keep this image of love, keep this image of light, keep this image of wisdom and truth, abundance, prosperity, and all that's good about you. Keep this within you, shining out from you. So it is, and so shall it be. Bring your hands to prayer at heart center. Feel this source light tingling through your body, every cell. Expanding out in all directions. Lift your thumb knuckles between your eyebrows. Together we honor each other, bow and say Namaste. Let your eyes flutter open, bring yourself back to the physical, eyes open, body here. So that was a pretty powerful reading message for today. I felt empowered by it, and thank you all for tuning in, staying on with me. I'll be back here again tomorrow morning at 5:30, and if you think that this could help some people that are struggling with what their intention is, what their purpose is, and doing that whirligig, the carousel of nonsense, please, I'll be putting this on YouTube. You can find it on Facebook. Yeah, just get it out there. Right, my friends, enjoy your Saturday, and truly enjoy. Find things that light you up, poetry, songs, music, things that give you that lifted feeling. And we'll chat soon. Bye.